Hey, so we are back in my studio after about a month of being away. In the last 2 weeks, I've been trying to visually catch you up with what's been going on in my life, and I thought that right now would be a really good time to mentally kind of catch you up and talk about what's been going on. I've never been out of the country for more than the 10 days that I normally go to Poland for, let alone completely kind of on my own going and doing this crazy thing. And throughout this entire trip, there has been this one thing that I just keep reminding myself, and that it has nothing to do with where I am, but it's who I'm with. That one idea revolves around everything I want to talk about, because I saw so many beautiful places and amazing architecture and all these landscapes, but if I was all alone, I have no interest in traveling like that. And I know the last two videos were pretty long and they're all over the place, and that absolutely represents how I felt. There were days where I was in England where I seriously did not know what part of England I was in, because I was on one of those double-decker buses for like 6 hours every single day. And that's a place that I did not want to discover my strong relationship with motion sickness. But we did it, and we made it. So a realization that I had while I was out of the country is something that's pretty obvious, and it's just this cultural barrier that happens no matter where you go. Now I expect this when I go to Poland, because I've been there the last few years, and obviously the language is much different than ours. So when having a conversation, you try to simplify some vocabulary so everyone's on the same page and everyone's really comfortable. And that's the adaptation that happens over the 10 days that we were there. Now obviously there's going to be a few things that get lost in translation, but that's kind of the charm of being able to talk to someone that lives in a different country from you, because you kind of pick up on those things, and that's a whole learning experience in itself. But the thing that really got to me is that right when I arrived in England, I imagined that all these cultural things just went away because everyone primarily spoke English, and maybe there's a few funny words that were happening, but everything else made sense. I could read everything. I think that was a big misconception for me, because then I just started acting like I was at home, and I didn't realize that the sarcasm is different, and maybe the way that you explain something is different. Actually, there was this moment where I was staying at my friend Lanya's house, and their neighbor comes to the car as I'm leaving, and there was a story about my hair, and she didn't seem like she was that into it, but I was still having fun with the conversation, and I said something along the lines of like, oh, don't come any closer or else I'll poke ya. And I guess that means something completely different. Ooh, she definitely didn't want me to do that, so. But the comfortability that I had in this English-speaking country kind of made me feel too comfortable, maybe, but the reality was I was still like very lost. That brings me to my next realization, that it's just about friends in general, and how incredibly important they are, and how incredibly hard it is to have friends and keep friends and make friends. I was so aware of it when I was away, and it really makes me appreciate every single person that's in my life right now. I feel like with the way social media is going, it's so important to have these friends in real life, because you can like something and click all the little buttons on the internet, but at the end of the day, all of those relationships that I've been involved with in real life have been so fulfilling. Seriously. Now, I'm not saying that social media is bad, and I'm not saying that having friends online is bad, because I know that it's a really practical thing, that you don't get to see all these people that you meet in real life all the time, especially if they live like 5,000 miles away. I do think that we can all take advantage of social media and really play off of its positives. As far as if you're friends with somebody on the internet, you should be able to feel comfortable with like calling them on the phone, which is a thing that you can do that has nothing to do with little size 10 sans serif type that gets misinterpreted all the time. But people don't feel like that. I don't feel like that with some people. And I am really actively trying to change it. Branching off of all the internet things, this wouldn't be possible. So I love the internet for that reason. Me being able to go to England and stay with somebody who I would have never met if it wasn't for the internet, that's an amazing thing. And I am so incredibly grateful that I've been able to make these relationships and communicate with people so far away. And when we meet at the airport and we start walking, it feels like we have made that walk 100 times before because of this. Every human experience that I'm having and interacting with someone is so amplified at this moment because I'm thinking about what friendship means and what good communication means. Every conversation that I'm having with every kind of person is hitting me so much harder than it did before I left. Now, I don't want to put more importance on the conversations that I'm having out of the country than what I'm having right here or what I'm having when I get back to my apartment. But I did need this moment to kind of happen to be able to reflect on. Alright, so a brand new realization that is happening to me right now is that we're at the end of the video and I'm still at the tip of the iceberg with what's been going on in my head, and maybe there'll be another one of these pretty soon. But it is really important to think about how important the people are in your life and how the place really doesn't matter all that much. And I know the argument can be made that if I didn't go to this other place, I would have never met those people, but I think the reality is that those people are around us all the time, and we might just see them walking by or sitting in a weird blow-up chair. Once we make this realization that we can connect with everyone in some way around us, everyone's gonna become a lot more visible in real life and not just the way that we're living on the internet sometimes. I really value that you are taking a few minutes to spend with me, because we all have the opportunity to connect with so many different people, and you're choosing to do that with me, and seriously, it makes me happy to know that. On that note, I will see you next Tuesday with a really cool projection mapping project that I've been working on.